So I'm so excited today. This is the Millionaire Mom Method. I'm so excited to have Sarah Clarke. She is a brand launch partner. Thanks so much for being here.
You're welcome. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So I love in these interviews, I love talking about how we can inspire others, teach others, and grow together. That is my big motto in life, is that we rise together. So that is always the goal of these chats. So I'd love to hear from you. I love hearing kind of origin stories. I'd love to hear from you. Was there a moment, or a multitude of moments is usually how it is, where you felt, oh my gosh, this is such a transformation I've experienced. I got to share it with the world. I got to make this a business.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'd started having conversations with people that were setting up their own businesses and had begun taking part in networking communities with business owners who were ready to get started. And they were really struggling with how to present themselves online, how to talk about what they did, how to make sure that they were talking to the right people and that they understood. And the more people I spoke to with the same theme coming through, I just thought this is definitely something that I can help with. I have an editorial background and also project management, so it kind of fits well with the launch strategy side of things. And it was just it started off as casual conversations, but the more those conversations kind of developed, I realized actually I can make a difference here, especially to those who are looking to launch, maybe haven't done it before or have tried it before and just knew that it could be stronger, but they weren't quite sure why. When you
Absolutely.
start digging, that would often come down to their messaging.
Yes, yes. And that would lead me to my next question. What is your biggest lesson from launches? I think so many of us have had launches that didn't go so well. So obviously, chatting with someone like you would be really helpful to get started.
Yeah, and it can manifest itself in so many different ways. So it might be, okay, I didn't get the number of people I wanted my launch, or maybe the wrong people were approaching, or they're approaching for something slightly different to the offer that was there. And it was wanting
Hmm.
to connect with the right people, I think, was a theme that was coming through, and making sure the best help was available to them, the best support was available to them. And the more I spoke to them, it often came down to the fact that that one core message wasn't quite secure yet. So they knew there were loads of things that they could offer. They had brilliant ideas. They'd seen the transformation in clients previously, but then trying to refine that and find what I call the golden thread is what they've really found tricky. And it's often hard to do that without having a conversation with someone who can really listen, ask the right questions, and help you realize actually this is the thing, this is the one thing that people are going to think, yes, I need that.
Yes, and that's so true. I always say this, we can be so deep in the weeds of our own business, right? But getting that kind of outside
Yeah,
perspective and from someone who has experience like you to be able to kind of give you that 30,000-foot view is really valuable, I think.
yeah, definitely. Someone outside who can look in and also help you kind of make sense of all those brilliant ideas that you've got and all the skills that you've got and find that underlying theme and ways to find it as well. Because I'm not there to decide for them. It's a case of helping them to feel what's right for them.
I love that. Yeah. And so yeah, do you feel like is it usually kind of the message? It sounds like that's like the biggest lesson, or is there another big lesson that you feel like you have learned along the way that people struggle with when they launch, or mistakes they've made?
Yeah, I think often that's the piece. You end up, they feel that they're like they need to work harder. That comes out a lot. I just
Yeah.
haven't done enough. I haven't put enough posts on my social media. Maybe I
Right.
haven't got enough on my website, or my funnel might be slightly misaligned or not as easy a flow as it could be. And actually, when you unpick what's behind all of it, often seems to be that because the messaging isn't quite there yet, it makes everything
Hmm.
else feel harder. And then you want to
Yeah.
do more to kind of compensate for that. And actually, you end up working harder. You reach that point, which you really want to avoid, of feeling like you're just burning out and you're not enjoying the process. Because what you want is
Right.
to be super excited about the launch, know that you've got everything in place and that it's working. And that messaging piece, you can see the confidence come back. And it supports everything else without making people feel I've got to do more and it's my fault because I haven't done enough, because that's not what it comes down to.
Yes, I love that. And I'm a mom. I think you're a mom, right? That I think moms don't need any more things to do, right? I think it's really hard and easy for us to get overwhelmed. And so if a launch doesn't go well, right, it's definitely more helpful to have obviously the pieces in place to make it go smoothly.
Absolutely. And we don't have that time to be trialing lots of different things and feeling like we need to take more on our plate. We have enough going on already. And actually,
Yes.
if the solution isn't doing more, but just being clearer on what you're doing, then that just helps in other aspects of life as well, because you deserve that balance between
Yeah.
family life, work life, feeling like, that you have got control over that, rather than having to give more to something without really understanding where it's leading you to or what's supporting you with that.
Yeah. Or what results you're going to get, right? Why spend so much
Absolutely.
time and effort on it if it's not getting you the results?
Yeah, and if you can feel the results happening, if you can feel the right people are coming to find you, then that's motivating in itself. And you don't
Yes.
feel like you're kind of guessing, because actually you can take that data, you can take that information and think, this is working, and I'm speaking to the right people in the right way. And it just turns that kind of concern into more of a kind of positive momentum, I guess.
Yes, I love that. And so, right, speaking to being a mom, how do you kind of incorporate or do you incorporate your kids into your business? Or what is kind of your hope that they will, by osmosis learn from you in your business? Or how does that look like for you guys?
Yeah, they've been fully involved from the start. They've seen me
Hmm.
build it from a tiny idea at the beginning to putting all the hard work in, and teaching them as well that businesses don't just happen if you're starting by yourself. There's a lot of learning that goes there. Things will
So
work
true.
out. There'll be learning curves as well. And they're still asking me, even though they're quite young now, they're still asking me questions about it. So they're learning themselves, this is possible. You can build from an idea or a concept or a way of helping somebody. You've just got to find what your strength is, and work out how you can use that to be of service to other people. So they've enjoyed the journey, and obviously
Um,
it's a constant journey, so it's fun for
yeah.
them to see where it might go next.
I love that. I love that. And I definitely think, inspiring the next generation to either be entrepreneurs or just to understand kind of the process, I think is really helpful because I'm excited to see what, the next generation kind of comes up with, having kind of more tools than maybe we had in place.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. And especially having girls, because you think for them as well, you want them to have the same
Yeah.
opportunity as boys out there as well. And they're all involved in it together. And it's about
Yeah.
finding your strengths, and not the areas that you think might not be your zone of genius. Well, you've got your thing and everyone else is slightly different. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice for them to see that process.
Absolutely. And not just be put in a box of, well, this is what girls do, or, this is the only thing you're capable of, or you can't do that because only the boys do it, or whatever. I just think opening the door to possibilities is exciting.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly it. It's opening the door, and then which direction they choose to go from there. At least they know they've got that choice.
Yes, I love that. And what is kind of your hope for the future? Do you feel like, and I know you're in the UK, right? So I'm sure
Yeah.
things look a little bit different there, but I'd love to hear kind of what's your hope for entrepreneurs, for women in the future? What are you kind of hoping for a future?
I love the collaboration that I'm seeing online at the moment, and my hope is that just continues to strengthen. So conversations I've had recently where it's just women supporting each other, the amazing skill sets and the strength of bringing those together and working together to support one another in building a business, in scaling a business, in making sure that those foundations are really strong. I
Yeah.
think that for me is the biggest thing that I'm seeing at the moment, and that's what I love. So I would love to think that that will continue, and it builds that visibility of female entrepreneurs, those who are mums at home as well. We are doing it all,
Yeah.
and we're achieving and supporting each other in putting the right things into place that will allow us to be successful with it.
Yes, I think that's so true. I love one of my clients said, you're not meant to do this alone. And I really believe that, women especially like to be in community with each other and collaborating and supporting each other. And yeah, you're right. I think there's far more, people love or hate, Facebook or social media, but in my world, I see much more support than not. I think people can pick apart and depends where you're hanging out, right? So
Yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking it's about finding the right community for you. And you soon know when
yeah.
you're in the community and you think, yes, this is right for me. These are my
Yeah.
people. We're going to support each other. And you can see so much positivity coming from it. So, yeah, I definitely
Absolutely.
agree.
Yeah, for sure. And now I know you and I have talked a little bit about mindset. I know you said that, it's such a transformation, I think going through business and kind of figuring things out. What are some kind of mindset, either tricks or things that you do to really help you on either, if you have some, low days or just, trying to get to the next level type of thing? What are some mindset things that you work on?
Yeah, I think my main the main mindset, I guess, obstacle for me to get over was not feeling like I need to do it all. So being
Yeah.
a busy parent, you are constantly doing things, and you've got the next thing that you need to work through, and that can become a pattern in business as well. So I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this, but how can I do it all at the same time? And what I've come to realize is there are certain things like your messaging, if you get that right from the beginning, then it gives you the pathway without you feeling like you need to do all the things. So that was
Mhm.
quite a big shift for me, of not trying to do everything, but be really selective over what I choose to do, how I speak about what I do, and the people, and also how I speak to the people that I can support in that. So making sure that my messaging is clear for who I'm speaking to, because then my time is well spent doing the best
Yeah.
that I can do, without kind of overstretching myself and trying to do all the things, which I
Yeah.
think is probably a habit that I've had to work my way out of.
Yes, I think that's so true. And I think, I heard this quote like, exhaustion is not the measure of success, right? And
Yeah.
I think so often I see so many, and I was there myself for years where I'm like, okay, if I'm busy, if I'm doing, I must be moving forward, right? But if you're just busy, I mean, doing things that aren't moving yourself forward, I mean, right? That's not a great place to be.
Yeah, exactly. And people have different ways of making sure that they're mindful of that. Mine is I write down my kind of top things each day, my top three things that are
I
really
love that.
going to have that biggest impact. And it sounds
Yeah,
really simple, but it has calmed me and the ever never-ending to-do list, because I know if I get
yeah,
those things done, I've achieved
yep.
what I want to. They're my priority, and everything after that is a bonus. And
I
giving
love that.
yourself a bit of a break with it as well, because you can't do
Yes.
it all. You don't need to do it all.
Yeah.
And like you say, it's not about overstretching yourself.
Yes.
Um, and you can do things in a better way, but that's all part of the learning curve when you start and run a business as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I think priorities are really important. And like you said, just three things, right, is a great place because we can't do it all and things come up and then you got to chase fires and whatever, right? So it's that's really a good thing. I know you're a reader. Do you feel like you have any books that have really inspired you? I love our book club right now. I feel like it's such a great place that has really inspired me. Do you have any books that have really helped your business?
Yeah, I was going to say Habits arrived in the post yesterday, so I'm looking forward to getting stuck
Yay!
into that. Um,
Wonderful.
I think probably the one for my business that made the biggest difference was building a story brand.
Mm.
That really helped me see, because I've always loved reading, love literature, and the kind of way it expands your thinking, and also
Yeah.
the creativity that comes with it. And that the way that it talked about your story and how that filters through to your hero, your customer, your client, the person that you're trying to support. And actually, it's not about you, it's all about them. And I think once
Yeah.
you have that mind shift to, okay, it's all focused on you when you first start, but
Of
actually, as
course.
soon as you realize it's not about that, it's about listening to your clients. Listening to what they say has really made a difference in your work with them as well. Because
Yes.
sometimes I think that can surprise you, and it might help you then with really aligning your work with what they're asking for. So that for me was, and still is, it still sticks with me now, is it's never about you, it's about the people that you work with and the difference that you can make by understanding them better. And the same with your messaging as well. It's got to speak to them and it's got to solve their problem. And how can you best do that? That comes kind of
Yeah.
as a secondary piece.
Yes, that is so true. And I really believe it's going to take some of that, you've got to have some customers or have some people in your world to figure out what is kind of resonating. I think so many entrepreneurs, right, get stuck in well, this is my message, and if it's not working, then I'll fine tune my message without getting feedback or stories from their customers to figure out what should be the message or whatever. Do you find that as well?
Yeah, definitely. And I think sometimes looking at testimonials, you can get a really good idea of somebody just by what other people are saying and by
Yeah.
listening to your own clients and starting to see the pattern in that. That's what happened for me. I realized everybody was asking me for support with messaging to help their online visibility. And it was like, well, there's a reason that this is what they're asking me for. And I can try and kind of push it in another direction because I feel that's where I was going. But actually, if that's not going to support them the best way and that's not what they're telling me is most helpful, it doesn't make sense. So yeah, it's amazing how that can help you if you are struggling to find that message. Just ask the people you've worked with what the
Yeah.
biggest shift was for them in working with you. And not only is it lovely to hear that, but also it helps you in improving the offer that you're providing.
Yeah, that is such a great idea. Yeah. And so I think you kind of touched on it here and there, but like, how do people get started with you? How do you help people kind of move their message along and get started with their launch?
So I offer a free 30-minute messaging audit. So we'll sit down, talk about, get to know their business better. I will ask questions to really understand the core of their business, where their why, I guess, is the main point that I'm looking for. And by the end of it, I can give them some direction as to how I might be able to support them in strengthening that message. So I've got my website, sarahclarkeobm.com, and there's links there to book a call with me anytime. But for anyone with any queries over their messaging, I'm always happy to have that chat with them and see if there's any way that I can support.
Amazing. And we'll include all those links below. And is Facebook the easiest way for people to get in touch with you, or where do you hang out the most?
Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm on
Oh,
LinkedIn quite a
LinkedIn.
lot. So yeah, and in there is the link to my messaging audit as well.
Amazing. Awesome. Anything else you would like to share with us today?
No, it's just really that you know if you've got that foundation right, don't let your confidence waver because you feel like you're not getting there. Because if you can just get that right and find that thread, speak to people that know you best and people that have worked with you best, that will help your confidence, your excitement towards your next launch. It will underpin everything that you build from there and hopefully help you find that balance without feeling like you're overstretching yourself.
I love that. That is so true. And do you feel like, yeah, is confidence a theme that you see throughout, that often launches don't go as well because they're not fully in their message and not fully in their confidence?
Confidence and frustration, those are the two things I see. Feeling like they're going around in circles, trying so many different ways of coming at their message to make it make sense to them and to others as well. And yeah, the more you go around and round in circles with something, I think that starts to eat away at your confidence. And sometimes just being able to have that second opinion can make you realize and also help draw out of you what you may have slightly lost in that kind of thought
Yeah.
process.
Yes, so true. And so, what are you excited about for the coming year? Do you have anything exciting coming on in your business, or are you just excited to help more women?
Definitely excited to help more women. I'm loving networking at the moment and just meeting people talking about their businesses. That's my favorite thing. I've
Amazing.
got a speaking event coming up, which is going to be a real kind of outside my comfort zone in a good way. I'm looking forward to seeing how
Amazing.
that goes. So I'm pushing myself still to do new things and yeah, take it one thing at a time.
I love that. That is so important. I really believe in, right, being on that edge. If you want to grow your business, you really got to be on that edge of a little bit scary, right? A little stretched out of your comfort zone. So good on you. That's amazing. I'm excited to see how that goes.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks so much for sticking around today. I'm hopeful that people will, come to you for their launches because I think that is such a huge part of business, that it is such a challenge and a big undertaking, right? And many people have had launches that didn't go so well, and then they're like, well, it must be me. I guess I'll give up, right? I'm sure you've
Yeah,
seen that too, and
yeah,
that's
and
not
you just
okay.
exactly don't quit. Just make sure you've got the right support and the right people around you to make sure that you can make a real success of it.
Yes, I love that. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for chatting today, and I'm excited to be in your world and watch you grow.
Thank you,